Well, the bell is rung, and the people want justice. Some officials in Bell have already resigned, but the people want more. There's a city meeting going on right now, and believe me, it's going to get tense. We'll go live to Bell. We are all Arizona. According to a local activist group, their immigration problem is our problem, too. But they've got a unique approach, and they're taking it to the streets. And the right to assembly. If you think Arizona's illegal immigration protests are heated, wait till you hear this. A local state assembly race pitched two candidates with completely different views against each other. One of them joins us live tonight, and she's got something to say. All the stories people are talking about and everything you need to know right now on The Filter. Hello again off the top, The Filter forefront, our top stories of the day, including how much is that doggy in the window? Don't worry about it. You can't buy it. But we'll begin with this. For whom the bell tolls, the more you get into it, the more it smells. How in the world could officials in the city of Bell be paid a king's ransom? Well, now we know. It was orchestrated by those officials. It seemed perfect until somebody found out. 5 years ago, new state law went into effect basically regulating salaries for city officials. But the city of Bell, at the urging of manager Robert Rizzo, had a plan. They created a special election with one item on the ballot, Measure A. It would convert Bell to a charter city. The selling point, Bell would have more control over its own destiny and, of course, not be governed by that pesky new state law. Elected officials in the city of Bell could regulate their own salaries. 5 members of the city council, 2 of which are still around, thought that would just be a peachy idea. Less than 1% of the city's population voted. It passed 336 to 54. Interestingly, of the 336 votes to pass, 239 were absentee ballots. If the LA Times hadn't snooped around, nobody would have been the wiser. The result, Robert Rizzo, Assistant City Manager Angela Spacia, and Police Chief Randy Evans have resigned with no severance pay. At this point, they're still entitled to very large pensions, but the natives of Bell are restless, and understandably so. It's a meeting going on right now, and people are going to have their say. Kim Baldonado is out there in Bell, and she's keeping an eye on it. Kim, what's going on?
Well, Fred, just a few moments ago, the Bell City Council members came out of their closed session, which they were in for more than an hour, and they announced or voted that they were going to cut their salaries. Now, there are 5 city council members. 4 of them receive about $100,000 a year. That 5th, he only gets $310 every 2 weeks. So the city council members voted to reduce their salaries to his level. But that's not good enough for the Bell residents. Boy, you should have heard the boos and the jeers erupting when they voted on that. They want them out. They're a chance of fuera, which means out in Spanish. I talked to some of them before the meeting started and said, if they do agree to lower their salaries, is that good enough for you? All of them said, no, we want them all to resign.
Hey,
so
Kim,
right now they're in,
Hey, Kim, I was just going to say, given what you're saying, these people are humiliated. They're embarrassed. Isn't that the case?
Well, no, apparently not, because after they voted to cut their salaries, they started speaking one by one. And the first city council member that spoke, she said, I will resign to lowering my salary, but I will not resign my position. She was adamant that she was not going to go. They do not seem embarrassed.
Wow. All right. And now the people are going to have their say. They're going to go inside and be able to publicly speak. Is that correct?
Yeah, they let them in. The city council meeting started at 6. They let them in. It was capacity crowd, 260. They reached capacity. I don't know if you can see much behind me, but there's a huge crowd outside that couldn't get inside. Probably about 500 people are outside listening on loudspeakers. And right now, the public comment period is going on inside the city council chambers, and those city council members are getting an earful. The first one that came up, just let them have it. And the city council member said, you know what? We're going to stay here as long as it takes. We're going to let everyone say their piece. This is going to be a long night out here, Fred. I think they're going to be out here probably till about midnight, which is how late they were here at the last city council meeting.
Kim, thanks for doing this. Settle in. You've got a long night ahead of you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, as you heard
Sure.
Kim allude to, city council members have decided at first they overpaid themselves. Now they're going to take a pay cut. So instead of making $100,000 a year, we have no idea how much of a pay cut they're going to take, but will that be enough? Attorney General Jerry Brown, who is conveniently running for governor, has now made this his mission and has subpoenaed the city of Bell's records to see if any of this is unlawful.
The Charter of Bell says that the salaries that are paid should be commensurate with the duties of the office. Commensurate legally means that there is a proportionality. There's a relationship between the pay and the work. So it would be incumbent upon the officials in Bell to prove, if necessary to a judge, that that enormous salary of almost $800,000 was needed to get the work done that was done.
All right, so we know it's certainly uncouth, but was it unlawful? Our contributors tonight, Debra Wilson and Ron Kaye. Our pictures are furnished by Skype. Ron, I'm going to begin with you tonight. According to Meg Whitman's campaign, Jerry Brown has now jumped into the fray as a campaign stunt. Do you buy this?
You know, that's politics. Issues have risen. He's got the office. He's got the power. He's articulated the law. What's really exciting about this is that we have people power, that somebody in that town found out about it, got it to the press. We had the press, the LA Times reported, and then they've rallied the community to put an end to this nonsense. I think Brown clearly shows that it has to go before a judge, at least in a civil case, where the value of their work has to be determined, and there could be a civil action to take back a whole lot of that money. You know, what's really a scandal here is you look at L.A., the nation's highest paid public officials, elected officials, or at least we thought so. They do make $180,000. Salaries have run out of control. The fact is that government, this is a symbol of the crisis of government that costs too much, that's been feeding itself. The fact that they took it to such ridiculous, extreme, almost comic proportions is symptomatic, though, of something that's going on certainly in our city, in our state, and over most of this country, where those who have gotten into office have seen it as if they owned the government, that they weren't just public servants any longer. The public was their servants. And I think it's a scandal. The whole nation knows about it. Bell is a symbol of the failure of government at all levels of American society. And like in Bell, the antidote to it is people standing up and demanding government that serves them.
All right, Deb, we've got a very short period of time here. My question to you, should Jerry Brown have jumped into this at all, or should he have just stayed out of it because he's running for governor?
No, he shouldn't have stayed out of it, because remember, this is a season when it comes to politics, this is a season of ambulance chasing. If you can make yourself look good, if you can put on that cape with a large S on your chest, then jump into the fray. Jerry Brown's, you know, if you look at Jerry Brown's political career and look at where he comes from, he's very grassroots. So this is the perfect time, the perfect moment, and ambulance chasing is in this season.
Well put. Okay, you ever see